What you say now? We used to have that round clock back there, remember? And it was always
A little off.
either running slow or fast, so. We went digital a little while ago. Few meetings back. All right, says 6:30 on the wall. Joanne, would you read the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Just to warn everybody, your names are out of place, okay? Mayor Jackson,
Here.
Mr. Bowen,
Here.
Ms. Cordova is absent, Mr. Heflin,
Here.
Mr. Lopez,
Here.
Mr. Lucero,
Here.
Mr. Miller is absent, Ms. Parker.
Here.
And Mr. Robinson.
Here.
Quorum.
We do have a quorum. Good deal. Mr. Robinson is going to lead us in invocation and I'll lead us in our pledges. If everybody would stand, please. Oscar?
Thank you, Mayor. Father in heaven, we come to you again tonight to ask you to continue to place your hand and blessing on this community. We ask you to be with our employees as they do their daily work. We ask you to be with the citizens as they move around the city and to their endeavors. We ask you to be with our school district, especially with our junior high school students who seem to be catching the flu. We ask you to put your hand on them, Father. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. From in the pledges, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico.
The Z symbol, the perfect translate among united.
We kind of got a new paint scheme around here since everybody's been here last meeting, so. If you like it, vote yes. Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. Change is something that we're always doing. All right. Steve, on the agenda. I want to take an item off. Do we ask for action on that or item in the executive session? There's not a need for it. So can we make that change at the beginning of the meeting?
Yes, you can.
So moved. You need a
Motion by Mr. Heflin,
Second.
second by Mr. Robinson. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. With that agenda adjustment, we'll move on to scheduled business. Item A is minutes of the previous meeting that was held November 15th, 2015 or 2022. Those minutes are in your packet. Hope everybody's had a chance to look them over, and if there's any corrections or adjustments, we'll do that now. Otherwise, I'd entertain action to approve those minutes, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Parker, a second by Mr. Bowen to approve the minutes. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Next item is B. Is the recognition and appreciation of the businesses, citizens, city staff contributing to the Public Utilities Department's efforts on our water main line break that happened early October. And I'm telling you, when something like that happens, we have a ton of people that come together to reach out to our community to help us. And I'd like to recognize some of those folks tonight and kind of give you an idea of who all they were, and hopefully there's a representative from each community here. And if that's the case, then if you come up as I call you out, I appreciate it. First off, we're honoring the city of Dora that provided potable water to our non-potable water to our fire department. Is anybody here from Dora? Okay, I'll just set that aside. And then the second one is DFA. The DFA provided semi trucks and non-potable water for distribution as well. Western Dairy Transport. Is anybody here from Western Dairy Transport? They provided semi trucks for non-portable water distribution for us as well. Next one is CNS Oil Company. They provided they provided a place for the semis to park to distribute the non-potable water. Second one, our next one is Walmart. Anybody from Walmart here? And they provided a place for semis to park to distribute the non-potable water as well. Ministerial Alliance, is anybody here representing them? They provided a place for the semis to park and distribute non-potable water. I don't know which church they used for that. Do you know? Anyway, and then hydration station, is anybody here from there? They provided food and drinks to the crew. Landals, also Sweetwater's at Landals provided food and drinks to the crew. Coach Jay's Barbecue Shack provided food and drinks for the crew. Chris Combs provided food and drinks to the crew. Pizza Hut. That was pretty close to delivery since they were right outside the back alley of that place. And Pizza Hut also provided food and drinks for a crew that was over there working. AJ's Wings provided food and drinks to the crew. The dude drop in. Hey, there is AJ.
think Pizza Hut's here too, Mayor.
Is Pizza Hut here too? I'm sorry, I was whipping by them because nobody was here. Here we go. There's the certificate. I appreciate everything you guys did. There you go, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for AJ's. Wings.
Thank you.
Got to going too fast. And then Dewdrop Inn, is anybody here from Dewdrop Inn? And on the square, they provided food as well. Our attorney, Steve Dorr, provided food and water and support. Is that moral support or legal support or some support? Steve, appreciate you. Roosevelt County Water Co-op. I know there's some people there from here. Ursula, appreciate it. And you guys provided staff and also support to our water crew over there. Eastern New Mexico University's maintenance staff. A couple fellas, Ray, appreciate you guys being there. Johnny, appreciate that. Here's a certificate for you guys. Thanks so much. Thank you. Johnny Kane, our superintendent, provided community support for our whole community, letting everybody know what was going on. Mr. Kane, I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. The Roosevelt County Electric Co-op. Nobody here from there. They offered and used some of their equipment to move different pieces over there. Mark Clark. Mark here?
No.
Mark. Anyway, Mark, appreciate you. EPCOR, anybody from EPCOR up in Clovis? They provided, they helped us on water testing when, remember we had that boil over there for a while and they were expedited our testing for us, so we were able to do that. Let's see. I think that's all I've had on my list. I don't know what.
The rest is staff.
The rest is our staff. We know how busy the staff was. But let me read these off for our staff, so we'll know that all those were. And the first one that I have here is the Digital Services Department.
She's out sick.
And she's out sick. We'll send her to the junior high. Public Utilities Department. Let's hear from there. Susan's here. I'll get it to you.
Chris is right here.
Chris, right here. You get caught up on your rest?
It took me a week.
I know. I'm sorry. Appreciate that. Public Infrastructure Department. Who's that? Steve Chavez. We got all these fancy names for our departments in here. Thanks, bud. Appreciate you. Let's do great. Calais Area Transit. Did I see Miss Hall? Thank you very much for helping out. Appreciate you. Calais Fire Department, Chief Kathy. Chief, I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Dallas Police Department as well. Thanks for you guys taking care of us every day, not just this. Portales Emergency Management, Antoinette. She here tonight? There she is. Good job. Sometimes we get recognition is when we have an emergency, but you guys handle it just right. And also Roosevelt County's Emergency Manager, Johnny Montiel.
Come on, Johnny.
Johnny?
That's Robert.
Dang, brother. You want to take it to him? All right. I'll keep it for, I will get it to him. Anyway, you know, that was, that's never fun, but it just tells and shows everybody in our community how we come together. And when we can, you know, when we come together as a team, we can get a lot of things done. Those aren't the type of things we want to get done, but when we think about that, and if we want to come together to get something positive done, we can do that too. So anyway, I applaud you all. I thank you all very much. Thanks again. Thanks for being here. And if you want to go or you need to go, you can feel free to leave. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, for the rest of us. Item C is a selection of two Roosevelt County Commissioners to city county JPA negotiations. Who's on our group?
Be me
Oh, Mr. Heflin.
for JB, for that one, it's gonna be me and Miller.
No, me, Veronica.
That picked the group, though. We had a little,
Now you
we have a group.
We're all picking the group, I believe, right?
You're picking the commissioners now that you want to negotiate with Chad and Veronica.
Thought it was Chad and Miller.
No, the county voted for Veronica.
Okay, Chad, okay.
Chad and Veronica, the county wants Chad and Veronica, the city wants Tina and Mr. Lopez.
That's who I recommend, but it's whoever. you
That's
guys-
That's a recommend.
Go ahead, you're more welcome to.
Start,
I want Tina and Lily Criswell.
Jake.
I want Tina and Dennis Lopez, my son.
Okay, Oscar,
Tina and Dennis Lopez, Commissioner Lopez.
Tina and
Okay.
Mr. Lopez. Mrs. Dixon, Mr. Lopez, please.
Tina and Mr. Lopez as well.
Well, it looks like that's already the majority, so I can work with that as well, but I think either of the three that have been mentioned will do very well.
any of the ones, okay. So it looks like the consensus will be Tina Dixon, that's right, Tina Dixon and Dennis Lopez. Item D is a presentation to the Roosevelt County, presentation by the Roosevelt County Health Council. Debbie? Thanks for, are you doing it? Okay, you're tag teaming it. Good job. She's handing out the flyers and you're doing the talking.
Well, partly.
Okay.
So it's been a while since I've been here to talk about the Roosevelt County Health Council. A lot of things have happened during COVID and we're just now kind of getting back in the groove of meeting again. We're still doing hybrid meetings. There is some information there that she just handed out. There's a help wanted posters. So if you guys would like to join our health council, we would love to have you on the first Wednesday of every month at noon, except for this tomorrow, because we have an all staff meeting. So on the back of that's just some of the things that we've done. And right now we are working on a grant through what's CHI? Community Health or Improvement. And so in your packet, you guys should have gotten a survey about the needs of Roosevelt County. We have to have one specific need priority picked by January 5th that we will be working on. And I know Portales has a lot of health needs. And so like the first question is, what do you consider the number one health challenge in Roosevelt County? So that can be anything. But number two is, what do you feel is the number one health challenge in Roosevelt County that can be addressed by the Health Council? I mean, we can't really bring in doctors. We can't build a mental health facility. I mean, there are things that the Health Council just can't do. We were involved in Produce to the People, and I don't know if you guys were familiar with that. It was here at the Memorial Building, and since COVID, that has stopped, but I've had many, many people ask me, please bring that back. But we were at the county commissioners meeting just the other day, and they said that they're working on a food bank here in Portales, and it's gonna be, is it behind the old
The Bonham-
CYMD
the
building?
Bonham
Oh, the
House.
Bonham House, yeah, behind the Bonham House. So we weren't even aware of that. So we're really trying to get out and see what's going on, and maybe we can help with that or be a part of that if we can't get Produce to the People back. And then on the back of that, there's just 5 things: mental health, physical health, community health, social health, or violence. If you guys would rate those 1 to 5, just to give us an idea of what you feel is most important. And then barriers, and then suggestions on how this can be addressed. I know this is kind of short notice. They had told us that we had till like the end of February, and then they changed it to January 5th. I don't know. You guys probably deal with the state and how they change everything all the time. So if you guys could look over that, share some information with us, we would really like input from,
So was there a survey in this packet you just handed out?
It's like
no,
that.
your.
Looked like this.
It's the
man.
need assessment.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's the previous
I'm with you. Here,
needs assessment. Those are, it's old numbers, but I kind of wanted to show you what the health indicators were.
And those numbers were pre-COVID. They haven't got a lot of data since COVID. Because, you know, everything was based on it. So, but anyway, any input you guys could give, I know you probably don't want to do it right now. I will share my email address, and if you would give it to them, then you guys could send me your information or however you would like to get the information out. But like I said, we really want some community input on this, so that we can say.
Can we get these back to Antoinette and she can get them to you?
Oh, sure, that'd be great.
How's that sound?
And the deadline. yeah.
That these surveys that she's
Do
provided?
you have
for
this
us?
electronically or is it just a paper?
I do have it electronically. I can,
Yeah, could you send that?
yeah,
Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah.
And the deadline.
yeah, and then you can just email it to
And
me.
what would deadline would you like? I know it's January 5th, be back
Um,
to them, but when would you like it?
The end of December, the 1st of January. It won't take us long to compile it.
Okay. So the sooner the better, no later than the end of December. From us.
And then if you would like to share it with anybody, if you guys have staff or faculty meetings, I kind of wanted to talk to Mr. Payne before he left, but, you know, and just email it out. They can send it to me.
Perfect.
We would appreciate it because we do want it to be something that the community feels like is worthy of us working on.
Yeah, that they have some input as well. Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions about the health council or?
But you are meeting in person. I mean, I know you're.
Well, we're
scheduled
doing
meeting.
hybrid, so in person and via
And
Zoom,
online,
either way,
okay.
yes.
Because actually I came over to a few that when you had
Yeah,
them.
and
over.
you still get all our emails.
I should get all the emails, yeah. But I think they come to my city deal, so we'll figure that out.
Oh, okay.
But if you'll send out that new, get that survey over to Joanne and then they can send that to the rest of the council.
Okay, sounds great. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
Item E is the approval of the water purchase contract with the Roosevelt County Water Co-op. Sarah?
We have worked with the representatives that you appointed in August to develop the contract. And on November the 1st, you guys also voted on the rate changes for not only the co-op, but the city and the county or the businesses as well. So this contract has been updated 8 times now. Eight?
Seven?
Seven times. So this is the final product of this contract. You stand for any questions?
The only question I have is who was our representatives on that committee?
I was one of them.
Jim, Diane and Oscar.
You guys have
I have one quick, I have
a comment, Mr. Bone?
Yeah, the last whereas says, the new water contract needs to be approved by both parties. So obviously, we're looking to approve our side right now. What if they don't approve theirs? Where are we at?
I guess we don't have an agreement, and we hopefully we enter back into continuing negotiations. If that's the city, if that's what the city wants.
I spoke with one of the gentlemen on the water co-op board today and it seemed like they weren't really in agreement. I know that you and their attorney have been in talks, and I thought we had made the changes that they had wanted. Is there changes that were not made that they wanted?
I'm not aware of any change that wasn't presented to the committee and dealt with.
Because I figured in that meeting, we addressed the changes that they wanted, but from talking to them today, it sounded like there were some changes that they needed, but
I sent their attorney the draft. We had our meeting November 1st, at which you made the changes. I sent it to him on, I believe, November 4th. He responded that afternoon and said he'll get back with me probably tomorrow or later. I've sent him 2 follow-up emails requesting that he get back with us because it was going to be on the agenda for today, and I've not heard back from him.
the rate change, they're just like us. We're gonna address it at the end of the year, right? We're not gonna automatically.
No, it's not gonna start until we start everybody's at the same time.
But I'm saying every year, like on ours, going up 8% every year for the next 5 years, we're not automatically gonna do that. We're gonna address.
No, we have it in the minutes where we're gonna evaluate that every year.
I just wanted to let them know that.
Yes.
Any other comments from any of the members that were served on that committee?
Well, it just seems like, because I did talk to Mrs. Parker this morning or sometime today. I don't know what time it was, the kind of blur there. And it just seemed like there's a little bit of uncertainty on their end. And, Mrs. Parker, would you want to say anything to address that before we vote, or you're okay with where we're at? Very good.
No comment.
Oh, no comment. Okay. Then
Can anybody answer why your attorney hadn't got back to our attorney?
Some health issues and some family issues as well as myself. He's dealing with a sick father-in-law, I'm dealing with a sick mother, and he's just. No excuse, but that's just.
Well, and we feel for that, I mean, we definitely, I can feel for, dealing with sickness and illness and stuff like that too. So, but that being said, if we knew that, if we'd had, something, then maybe we can do that. We've been working on this thing for almost a year now. We really have been working on this thing for a year. And whether the representatives of the water co-op have issues with the way this contract's presented, then are any of you guys on that group that want to say anything about it other than?
I would love to say a lot.
Okay.
But I don't think it's appropriate this time. I think y'all are gonna do what you're gonna do. And we're not gonna get any say in what it is. So I don't know what else to say. I think it's unfair. I don't think it's that 75% increase is what it ought to be.
Well, the last time we met, everyone on the water co-op was under the understanding that the committee was going to meet again. That was, we left there with the understanding that, okay, we presented some of our stuff, we've addressed it. Steve was gonna take it and he and Sarah were gonna make the changes. And then we were gonna meet one more time, and we felt like if we met one more time, we could maybe come to some sort of resolution, and we haven't done that.
I don't have that. My understanding was at the last meeting, we made all the changes. I was to put it together in final format form and send it to their attorney, which I did that week. And it's been my understanding and city manager's understanding that what we discussed was the final draft. If anybody on the board thinks otherwise, but that's what I recall, it was.
But that, I was at the last meeting, you were to make some changes that their attorney wanted and send it back to him, but I wasn't aware that we were supposed to meet again.
That's correct, that's my understanding. I made.
It wasn't your understanding that we were supposed to meet again?
No, I just knew that he was supposed to make changes and they've been sending us the emails of the new contracts and we've been seeing them. But I didn't know, like I said, I spoke with one of their guys today and he said there were some changes that they also wanted to see. And we spoke about, the rates. Obviously, the city, we already approved this rate to go, right now, they're like $3.34 per 1,000 gallons. That's gonna go up to $5.58. The city already approved that at previous meetings, correct? So there's nothing that can be done about that, but the city itself, we pay $16 and something per 2,000 gallons, correct? And we're only charging $5.58 per 1,000 gallons.
Plus $15,000 for a base rate.
Yes.
Mayor, so just to be on the, just to clear my mind, we're voting on something that this council or representatives from this council agrees to.
We,
Right.
as the council, we've already passed this.
Okay, so what are we waiting on this for? This is the final version?
Yes, this is.
And based on the representatives we elected from this council, this is the final version you all saw,
Yes.
right? So that's what we're voting on.
That's right.
Thank you.
Last meeting, Dr. was there, Ms. Parker wasn't there, and Oscar wasn't there. The first meeting, Oscar wasn't there. So we really haven't had a real good representation of the city council, in my opinion.
Well, and like Mr. Bone was saying, even though we weren't there, we've been receiving the emails, we've been receiving the contracts. We've been getting an opportunity that if there was any questions or if there was anything that we were able to communicate with them. And of course, letting them know, okay, we don't like this, we need to change this, we need to do this, what about this? So I know it's really hard, like you said, for whatever reason, we can't all be together at the same time. I mean, it's like right now with our council, I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing with the commissioners. This is a regular meeting, but yet not everybody can make it. So even though we weren't present at the meeting physically, we were still communicating. Yes.
Ms. Parker, what were y'all paying before this $15,000?
Any other questions or comments? So the item before us is the water contract with RCWC. And I would entertain action on that item.
Mayor, I move to table this for one meeting, so we can have this one, postpone this for one meeting to enable us 2 weeks to come and talk to and have one last swing at this thing. It sounds like we're not at full consensus. No one's gonna be happy about a rate change. We're not happy about our rate change either, so. But I would, be willing to postpone this till the next meeting. And in the meantime, have one last meeting discussion to get everything on the table and move this thing forward. We want to be good stewards and we want to be, amicable. We all live in this county and communities together. We all feel the pain of rate changes and the inflation rates are going on now. So I moved to postpone this one meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the board to postpone this for 2 weeks at least. 2 weeks?
Yes.
I have a question. So is that saying that we are gonna postpone this for 2 weeks and then try to meet together one more time
Yes.
before our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can we
If they're-
figure out a
they'll
day before,
Work out something like that.
can we figure out a day to meet before they leave, since some of them are here?
They'll be there.
Yeah, I don't think we've had trouble with the county representatives being there. Sounds like some of us.
Yeah,
been able to-
no, but I'm just saying, so we're not emailing specs for if we can do it right here and right now. What day is good for you, Ms. Parker?
15th,
15th?
Thursday.
Thursday, the
I don't
15th.
travel though.
Why don't y'all set that up later?
My mom, we gotta take my mom to look at that.
What time?
Is it too early to do it this Thursday?
I can't this
You
Thursday.
can't this Thursday.
This Friday maybe, but not this Thursday.
Just when.
Usually don't travel on third Fridays.
See, that's the problem. Yeah, I can't attend.
The only one that's a wild card is, of course, our council. Now, he's back in the office tomorrow. He's been out of him.
Meet like at 10 or you can't meet at 10.
Stuff, but
I can attend, yeah, but I can't meet.
What time have the meetings been being?
3:30.
3:30. See, that's when,
when.
oh, and Oscar drives a bus. He can't be there at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can we do it like at 4 or what
Which
time
day,
do
the
you?
Friday,
finish?
this Friday? Is that what we're talking about before we get any further?
What time do you get done with your bus ride?
I'm normally, I'm done at 4:30. And you know, that was an indication there that I purposely didn't attend a meeting, but I can't attend meetings at 3:30.
That's okay. I don't think anybody was saying,
Okay.
Oscar, what, can you meet earlier than that?
I
What
can
you have
meet
to-
early, yeah.
what time are, I mean,
In the
before
morning,
3?
10 o'clock.
but then that leaves.
But see, I can't, because I'm
Okay.
teaching. Yeah, I have classes. I
Well-
can't do that.
So it would have to be in the, Mr. Mayor, I could resign from that committee and you appoint someone else because I can't attend the meetings at 3:30.
Is 4:30 too late?
On which day are we talking?
Over on salary, y'all can beat after 5, can't you?
On salary.
Jim,
yeah, this Friday.
Early in the week. Sorry, sorry.
Well, I'm traveling Monday, Tuesday of next week. I'm traveling Wednesday, Thursday this week. Friday I'm open.
What
Jim,
about next Monday?
I'm traveling Monday.
Friday?
Can you do it this
Friday,
Friday?
5 o'clock?
I can do Friday, this Friday.
Friday at 4:30.
Friday at 4:30? Friday at 4:30, Oscar?
Okay.
Friday at 4:30?
It's
Parker?
Yeah.
This Friday at 4:30?
What's the date?
That's the 9th
The night.
Nine.
December.
Again. Agree with all of this pending Wesley. I mean, and he's back in the office tomorrow. His email hasn't even been working. But I will text him as soon as I walk out to the car.
I mean, council wise, that's one thing, but having the bulk of, you guys, the decision makers is the most important part. No
We
offense
might
to the
be-
lawyers, but they'll just draft up whatever we come to agreement on.
Friday at 4:30 at night.
Friday at 4:30, and I'll contact Sarah if there's one reason that.
And where are we meeting?
City Hall conference room,
Okay, thank you.
Eric, could you send us an invite?
doing it right now.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got that.
Monday, Tuesday. That's it, really.
And then you'll be back.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
All right, let's complete action on the postponement.
Yes, one second option, so in case Wesley can't. What about Wednesday at 4:30, next Wednesday at 4:30? I'm just trying to give Wesley a couple of options.
I can do that.
Okay,
I'll
That's
send
the-
the calendar invite, but if it changes, I'll update it.
okay, so I can give him that other option.
And the next Wednesday's the 14th.
Okay, yes, yeah, okay. Does that work for city council?
Yes.
I just want to give him at least to be able to.
So the motion, I guess, is to postpone this till next meeting, but do I have to mention anything about the meeting, Joanne? I mean, it's not part of this
It's kind of
postponement.
listed in- I put it in there,
Very good,
discussion.
as written.
We have a motion to postpone. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Robinson. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. We'll get this thing worked out.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. All right, Jody. Annual update on our Roosevelt County Community Development Corporation.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Mayor, Council.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry.
Interrupt you.
So on behalf of the RCCDC and Economic Development, thank you for having me tonight. I've been with the organization just a little over 6 months. The RCCDC does run on a pretty tight, we're annual budget of about 100,000 a year. We have one executive director, and then we share the front staff with the chamber. Upon taking this position, one of the first, I guess, places I went, things I did was I took the basic economic development course at Western New Mexico University in Silver City. It was an excellent course. It's a 3 credit hour course that's normally, I think, like a 16-week that they put into 5 days. So it's kind of a long day, but it was very informative. I know they do recommend also as well that community leaders can come if anybody is ever interested in that. I felt like it was a great course. If you have 5 days in the summer to go and take a course at a university. So anyways, that was one of the first things, very helpful. And then also we did, I know Mr. Miller's not here tonight, but he did assist. I applied for, and Mr. Lucero can probably help me a little bit, through the state economic development, you can become a certified economic development organization. It's a $40,000 grant. We did apply for that. And I say with that, I applied for it within about the first month of when I started. And so I do think you need a little more longevity in your position for your organization. They only award 7 throughout the state. And so we will try for that again, but Mr. Miller did come and sit in. We had the representatives from the state came, and we had different representatives from organizations around Portales and Roosevelt County. And so I appreciate Mr. Miller coming and sitting in on that, and we will, and I think Mr. Lucero will be helping probably with that as we apply for it next year. So hopefully we'll get that grant going next year. When I started, there were 2 LEDA grants already in place, and I know the council did vote on those. So the 311 and the Fund Center both went through, and those were already in progress. And there have been a few more grants sent out. There's been some requests for LEDA grants. So I know one project is going to start hopefully in the summer, and I think they will be coming to, or they have requested a LEDA application. So it is out there, and we do have some businesses that are looking into it. I was contacted, we're working on a housing plan. I was contacted by someone with Cannon Air Force Base, and they have some housing needs for some of their airmen and women. And so I attended my second meeting today, but we are trying to work with some builders to try to find some programs, some, possible grants for them to address some of those housing needs that they're seeing on base. Although it is, I will say it's it's in the very beginning stages. So once we get a little bit further with that, I'll probably be reaching out to the city council for to get involved with some of that. Business retention, I've gone and worked with some of the businesses, just introduced myself. Trying to see what the needs are for some of our businesses. And I still am reaching out for those. We are looking at some services that maybe we have that maybe people are going to retire soon, or a service that we might be potentially losing, or services that we don't currently have. So we are working on that. I actually have a call Thursday coming in for a service that will be really good for our community. Our fundraising campaign has started. Facebook, we did the Giving Tuesday, and letters have been sent out, as well as some businesses I've met in person and just gone and talked for our fundraising campaign. We started December the 1st, our facade improvement grant program started. We are getting that out to some of the downtown businesses. So in the beginning stages, it is just for downtown businesses, but we're hoping to provide about 13 grants for facade improvements for those businesses. And along with that, through the downtown strategies that we have partnered with, the facade was something that we started with them, and then as well as some artwork in the downtown area. So if you see that, that is part of the downtown revitalization plan that we've been doing. And then lastly, the RCCDC does manage the Roosevelt County Enterprise Center. All tenants are current. There is one opening. The Hartley House is no longer renting a space.
in our building. But we do have another service and business that is already interested. They're just waiting on some paperwork to finish up, and then we should get them in that office. So anyways, we do appreciate, I know it does say annual update. We're doing kind of a 6-month update, but we do appreciate the council and the city, and however we can help, please just let us know. I know the board's very active to get us working, and anything that the city does need, please reach out and we're happy to help.
Anybody have any comments for Jody, Jim?
Yeah, I do. And, you know, Jody, as anyone may not be aware of in the audience, I was the previous director there for the RCCDC, so I'll publicly state that. And I'll also say that I will 100% support Jody and what she does. It's for the most part, you get a lot of a thankless job. You get a lot of no's in that department as she tries to work for Portales and Roosevelt County, and it's not the easiest of jobs. There is an EDO certification that you mentioned that's going through the state that I think will not only bolster the organization itself, but also give her the tools to help her be more successful in there. And $40,000 annual grant will help tremendously with her budget as well. If I do have one criticism, I would say as the organization as a whole is, and I've told this to Jody, and I've told this to the ex officio members that are here, and I'll say that publicly, is we need continuity in that for the director. There's a historical trend with the RCCDC, Stan Livengood, Orlando Ortega, Bill Hendrickson, myself, and now Jody in just about 8 years, maybe 9, I think now. So about every 2 years, we have a new director, and I would challenge, the RCCDC, if you're the person, and I hope you are, and I hope you all the success, that we retain you. And what I've seen is successful organizations in economic development in Southeast, which I've seen them all. The ones that have longevity in that position are successful. Having to relearn and start over every 2 years is very challenging. So I hope the best for you. I'm here to support you as much as I can. And, if you're the person, let's make sure we do everything, give you the tools necessary to be successful, because when you're successful, the community benefits.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
Jody, in the future, if you need any help from the politicians like me, I'm ready to help you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate
Well, and I
that.
think that's a good point, Jake, that we're here to support you, and we're here to have your, to bounce those ideas off of. And I love the idea of a housing development that can benefit not just Cannon Air Force Base, but Portales as well. That's something that we need to plan together to find the right location for that, the right developer for it, to make sure that we can get the infrastructure in place and provide, if they want 50 units, that we can provide the water services for that. And we have the abilities to do that in a joint manner, and make those things happen. Those are the things that, Portales is notorious for being stagnant. And we want to grow, but then we kind of put our own hammer down on us to not grow. So, we've got to work together with those ideas.
Absolutely. And like I said, I just attended, it's just a monthly meeting, and I attended the second one today. So when I'm able to get some more information, we'll definitely get to working with the city and
Yeah,
get some
and I
information.
appreciate you being here.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jody. All right. Item G is a report and the final action on the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority Loan Agreement Grant. Joanne, did we have something we failed to do last time on that item?
Oh,
I thought that came to us before.
yes, you have an extra packet of information there, and that basically just tells you this is what has taken place. And they're not asking for any approvals, they're not asking for action, they're just letting you know that this is where we're at in the process. But it's required that we present it to the council, that we do it during council meetings. So you've already you've adopted the resolution of commitment. And the the draft of the loan grant agreement has already been presented. By them. Orlando would have been here, but he's also involved in that, the Rotary this evening. So really, there's no action, it's just a report that they're at this place in the process. That needs to be documented.
Okay,
Okay,
no action then. It's just the information item.
yes, sir.
Okay, any questions for Joanne on that? Okay, thanks, Joanne.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on to item H is resolution 22-23-26. The compliance of the Open Meetings Act resolution and the schedule of the council meetings. Sarah?
Yes, so we did a survey out to council to see how they would feel about changing our meeting days and times. We would like to suggest to change the meeting time to 5:30 to accommodate a little bit earlier time, especially in the darker months. And then we'd like to move the meetings from the first and third Tuesday of the month to the second and fourth. That way we can accommodate for our finance meetings as needed.
And this starts January or?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Entertain action. The resolution.
Second,
Motion by Mr. Bowen, second by Ms. Parker. Joanne, would you read the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bowen,
Yes.
Ms. Carter, Ms. Carter was absent. Mr. Heflin,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Lucero,
Yes.
Ms. Parker,
yes.
and Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Thank you.
You don't. 5:30, huh?
He skipped.
How crazy. man.
We just did this.
Shit. Anyway. All right, what are we down to here? Item I is items from the planning commission. Kelly, still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first item is a request to accept a recommendation for a replat.
Yes, sir. So this replat it takes 3 different properties. It's combining them into one property. It went to planning and zoning October 24th, 2022. It did take a while to get to city council because there was a legal question. I'll present to you guys. So it's part of a subdivision that was never developed. The road's not in, but the alleyway is. The gentleman is going to replat and then face his house towards an already established road. So the question was because he had met his public utilities through entrances and alleys. Would he have to, someone down the line need to develop the road, would he be responsible for the development of the road? That's abutting his 3 properties. We sent it to legal. Legal did say yes, he would be responsible for that. It is in the resolution that the homeowner or the developer has agreed that if that road is developed, that he will pay his share of that developed road. It went out to 19 letters were sent out to utilities and surrounding property owners. 3 property owners returned a verdict. They were for it. When it went to planning and zoning, it was a unanimous vote, 4 people for it. Mr. Chad was there as well. So if you have any questions, either of us could help you answer them.
Mayor, we talked to council, legal counsel and Mr. Dodge and everything was made very clear to us and Mr. Dodge. He bought the property facing Globe and then the next 2 properties back. He owns 3 property. We're just making one big property out of it, pretty simple.
North toward Valencia.
Yep, it'll face
So
east
they'll have
though.
to put a road in there.
If somebody ever decides to buy that back land. Cause you'll own the next 3 all the way to the back.
Yes.
So.
Is 15th lane already there?
It's,
Or is it just designated to be there? I'm just looking at this little map here.
no, there's nothing there right now. It's
No.
just,
Designated to be 15th.
right next to it's the Valencia fence. So
But there should be, I mean, if need.
if he
be,
would have finished
there
that
would be a-
subdivision, there would have been a road
Yeah,
there,
road.
yeah. But he never finished the subdivision, so,
But he bought this property before that was finished.
right. And the next 2 properties behind him, I believe.
And he's just combining them.
One big property.
Mr. Dodge is gonna have to pay to get that road if somebody buys that back property?
Yes, so he'll be responsible for what abuts his property to get, and then whoever buys the other properties will be in charge of their part of the development as well.
And then the city would just maintain the road after it's built.
Yeah, when it's built, it does become part of the subdivision.
Make sure it's
Who
like a
would?
city road.
The city
then.
would, yes.
Yes.
Wanted to make sure before I lied to y'all.
Okay. You said 3 people were for it when you sent the 19 letters out? Was that-
Yeah, we received 3 property owners that were for the proposal. And then when we went to council, 4 P and Z voted for.
Any other questions? Would entertain action to accept the recommendation from the planning commission, please.
I'll make a recommendation to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Heflin, a second by Mr. Lopez. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We'll get you for one more item.
Oh, you give me for 2, sir.
We'll get you for 2.
Just one more for P and Z.
22-23-27 is determining a dangerous property. Kelly?
Yes, sir. So this property is 1409 North Main. It's covered in cars, debris, wreckage. We've been in touch with the property owners. We had posted it on September 7th, 2022. Technically, the 90 days actually ends today. However, the property owners have been in contact with us. They did have a pretty bad family emergency that required them to go to Colorado. So we did extend that to January 6th. That extension to kind of give them a little bit of a break. The pictures you guys see in your packets were taken 11/22/22. And they weren't able to be here today, but they would like me to let you know if they've gotten about half of what they'd like to get off, and they still have plans and have been working on the other half. And code enforcement and I can include that they have been moving things pretty steadily off the property. So today we're just getting the approval to have it declared a dangerous property, and then I'll come back to you with progress before it's decided to do anything else moving forward.
So are we extending it to January 6th
Yes, sir.
as of today?
Yes, sir, if that's okay. They did, their son was shot, so they did have to go to Colorado for an extensive amount of
So
time.
on our packet, it says 90 days expired 12/6, so we're gonna extend them an additional 30 days
Yes, sir.
for those extenuating.
What's the address there you said?
1409 North Main.
And they are making some progress.
Yes, sir. They removed a number of vehicles and some of the debris.
Well, it's encouraging. Thank you for keeping that thing moving.
Resolution 22-23-27.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lucero, second by Mr. Robinson. Joanne, would you read the roll?
Mr. Bowen,
Yes.
Mr. Heflin,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Lucero,
Yes.
Ms. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sally, is that the same you get that has a deal up here on Libra or? Mark,
Repeat the question, sir?
was that Mark? Right?
Yes, sir. That the property is owned by his parents, but Mark Size is doing the cleanup.
And he also has the one on Elb.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The one else tonight.
All right, stay with us. Item J is notice of intent to adopt ordinance number 761, ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 545. Kelly?
Yes, sir. So the ordinance that we're proposing today is to replace ordinance number 545, which is section 18, which is the location and size of accessory buildings. That ordinance was done in 1991, and it does carports as accessory buildings. So the same setbacks that apply to a garage would also apply to a carport. And having been in PZ, I've noticed a lot of people have a hard time meeting those setbacks because there has to be 6 feet between a carport in any main building or any building, and then 20 feet if it's in the front between the property line and the beginning of the house. Most houses are built to that 20 feet. So I turn down a very large amount of the carports that come in. So this would take away the 20 feet and take it to a 5 feet, which is what we apply for fences. And then it would allow them to be closer. This does not affect our more strict residential, the R1A. That still gives them the same as accessory buildings. And it also introduces unpermitted buildings. And it gives a bunch of steps of how an unpermitted building that has complaints by neighbors can work on getting the permits or getting fixed to become legal for the ordinance. If you guys have any questions, this is just the intent, notice of intent to adopt.
Then
That
it'll
is
come
what
back
that
to us
is.
in a couple weeks,
In a month.
a month. I always try to push it to 2 weeks. Joanne pushes me out an extra 2 weeks on those. Can't get her done in 2 weeks.
And
Okay,
remember, we are moving our meetings in January to the second and fourth.
you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Notice of intent ordinance number 761. Entertain action on that. Notice of intent, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Heflin, a second by Ms. Parker. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Kelly, good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, item K is notice of intent on ordinance number 762. Joanne, this is yours.
Yes, this one's mine. This is the annual ordinance that that you guys have to adopt. You've already approved the projects. It's not like you're approving them again, but you need to confirm it and we need to do it by ordinance according to economic development.
Okay, so again, this is just a notice of intent
It's more like a housekeeping item.
and it'll come back to us in about a month.
Yes, sir.
I got it. I learned. I'm slow, but I learned. I entertain action on notice of intent for ordinance number 762, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Parker, second by Mr. Lopez. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, item L is an approval of phase 3 of the Constructors Inc. on contract for Kilgore. 18th and Kilgore. Who's got this? Mr. Chavez? Yes, thanks, sir.
Mayor, Council, tonight we're doing the phase 3 for Kilgore and 18th intersection. And staff requests approval of intersection rehab at 18th and Kilgore and replacement of drainage culvert at 18th and Kilgore in the Kilgore drainage ditch with the vendor of Constructors Inc. on CES. Submitted a quote on 11/15/2022 in the amount of $389,025, including GRT of $29,025, 1.5% bond fee of $5,835.38 for a total of $39,480.38. The staff requires approval for quote for materials, bonds, and GRT with vendor of Constructors Inc. on CES for phase 3 to include rehab of the intersection and drainage culvert for Kilgore rehab project at the intersection of 18th Street pending NMDOT and CES approval.
So the actual impact is $394,860.
Yes.
That comma's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't 39 million. I think we might could get Kilgore done for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the corner of 18th and Kilgore,
Correct.
and then we're redoing the
The culvert,
drainage,
The
the
culvert,
culvert,
the drainage, and then the intersection.
and the intersection as well. Are we concreting that intersection?
No. Gonna be asphalt.
Can we get paint included in this thing? 800,000.
We're waiting for them to schedule a date to get that done.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Huh?
That's what I was gonna ask, the status of the striping.
They're having trouble with scheduling. Once they get that done, then we'll get it done.
Okay. But, you know, the intersection itself is the one that takes the beating on the asphalt. And we had asked and asked and asked to get quotes on concrete of that intersection. And I'm fearful of us just being right back in the same boat we're in less than a year on that intersection with the semi truck traffic. Is anybody else?
Yeah, it's.
Mhm.
No, I agree, but hopefully we get a heavy ordinance
This,
come to
yeah,
us.
we're working on that, and
Stop students
this,
from driving on-
this funding is also what's a little bit left over from Kilgore, so we're doing it within what we have for our budget. So we didn't have the budget to go.
I absolutely appreciate that. I mean, I do, but I just know that that was something that was discussed going into the whole deal, was the concrete at that intersection, just because of the longevity of it.
But we,
And I know we need that new culvert just because of drainage. You know, that's another thing, Steve, on the drainage of Kilgore itself. I mean, and we've had some rains, so we've been able to tell how that's draining with the new asphalt in place now.
Everything's drainage towards the ditch.
And it all kind of slopes toward the ditch, and then the
Yeah.
ditch catches it, and.
Yeah.
And we're maintaining that ditch to where.
None of it ain't going towards the houses no more. It's all coming to the ditch.
Okay, good. And then to the ditch down to 18th, and then across from 18th, what's that road turn into?
Q,
Sir,
Q,
Q,
Isn't that
and
county?
then who maintains that ditch out?
We do.
to- We maintain that ditch all the way out.
all the way down to 7
Okay,
and down 7 to the
and
wastewater.
what about the residents that live off those sides that have their own culverts? Or crossover?
Well, if they're going
ditches?
across the ditch, we're responsible for
But
them.
we maintain those?
Yeah.
Okay. And we maintain that ditch.
Correct.
So when I see all that overgrowth on the south side of 18th Street. On that, we're gonna eliminate part of that with this. This new culvert there.
Correct.
Okay. It's gonna be a project. It's gonna
Yeah.
cut that road off for a while, and. Anyway, I don't have any more questions on it. It's clear in my mind. I'm just disappointed that we're not having concrete.
Yeah.
But at least it's asphalt versus chip seal and it should, be more durable than.
Yeah, no, and I'm telling you, I couldn't be more pleased with Kilgore right now, the way it is right now, and we'll be even more pleased when Diane gets out there and paints it.
Right away.
Let's approve phase 3.
Mayor, why can't we do that approach with the concrete?
I think just for cost is my guess, Jake.
yeah, it's the cost.
Well, don't you have enough money, you said, left from the other side?
Not to do concrete. We have enough to do what we're presenting tonight.
Surely we could find that money to do that, can we?
They tell me no. Susan, you gotta speak.
If you look,
Susan's up there to defend. Like,
Right now,
she's the cost.
we are hoping to be able to redo the concrete section that we did a few years ago on Kilgore, right there at 88. That will be part of phase 1, just to make sure that we have the continuity for the drainage at that point in time. We'll also be looking for applications for funding for that section of 18th Street that comes up onto Kilgore to work on the drainage and to make sure that we put in the concrete stop blocks before the intersection, which should also help with the drainage.
So approach on 18th. is
Yes,
what we're
sir.
kind of looking for, a concrete approach on 18th, similar to what is on Kilgore to 3rd Street.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. There is a raised grant application that we would like to put in for design funds for that. That's coming up in February.
how about the money that we get from the state anyway for streets?
We actually have 2 different applications that we'll be able to put in March. Again, the LGRF and the Transportation Project Fund.
Because we're not really doing nothing on the streets right now. So you should have enough money to do that approach.
I believe the majority of the funds right now have been committed to the patching materials.
And been committed to what?
The patching materials plus the matches for 5th Street, for 18th and Stafford Wood, and for the work on industrial that needs to happen.
And then we have that little piece on 5th Street.
Some of that money you can move it somewhere else.
Now they're committed based on the scopes of description that were actually put in at the time of those applications and approved by the State Transportation Board.
When you say the design, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, may
Okay.
I ask a question? When you use the term, the design phase cost, what is it? What is the approximate cost for that?
That we would have to get at, we're asking a couple of engineers to give us a probable engineer's estimate of cost. So design can be anything that includes your initial planning, your environmental clearances. If you're going after federal funding, you have to go through a full NEPA process. So if it's not categorically excluded, you still have to do all of your notifications for your archaeological and your cultural survey. So all of those are part of the initial planning process that would have to be included in that cost estimate. And then we have the actual planning work, which is laying it out, getting the slopes, making sure that the drainage is going to flow appropriately with what's existing or what has been built. And then actually getting the final design and the clearances through the state and through the feds if we are lucky enough to get federal funding.
The reason I brought that question up to me, I heard a rumor, strong rumor, that legislation may come this year to cut out some of that design phase and just straight for a project, something that is shovel ready, be ready. And because the world is not changing and Portales haven't changed. And a lot of the roads that we're working on have already been engineered. So I understand that maybe out of legislation this year, they may change the process of eliminating the cost of design, because all that money goes to the engineer and it could be going to the project. So I think you ought to check with some of the local legislators and see where they stand on that, because I think they're going to change it.
That'd be great.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your comments.
I will-
Anything to cut the red tape will help.
Cut the red tape.
You know, that's where we run into problems, is the bureaucratic BS that we have to put up with. when it comes from all the staff. That's right. Go ahead.
You said that we're gonna be fixing the concrete on Kilgore, where 88 is right now. Did I hear that?
The concrete in this particular project for phase 3 is in the culvert area and in the drainage area. When we apply for funds for 18th Street, heading towards New Mexico 206, then we'll be looking at including in that design concrete up to that intersection.
So this will be the concrete we're talking about is for the culvert itself,
Okay, I thought you were talking about that concrete that's.
It's a concrete
Approach,
culvert
yeah.
box structure.
but the approach would come with funding later to go toward 206, to go west.
Steve has been working diligently with Alex and Sarah to make sure that we're going after design funds. They're working really hard to make sure that we get Kilgore and 18th completed.
Good job. Steve, good job presenting. I know these aren't the fun things for you to do, but you're getting better at it, bud. The more, the more that we have, the more you're gonna have to be here in front of us, and we
I'm not
appreciate it.
believing that the county and the city are working together. Why can't the county give us enough money to do that right there?
We'll let you tackle that one.
You could ask the commissioner, I guess.
On that one.
I'll ask him.
All right, so this is phase 3, Kilgore and 18th intersection. I'm asking for action on that approval.
So move.
Second or whatever.
Motion by Mr. Bowen, a second by Mr. Robinson. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, item M is public input for which no action will be taken. Any matter not known about or which could not have reasonably been foreseen prior to the time of the posting of the agenda. Informational purposes only. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, limited to 1 presentation per meeting, and no more than 6 speakers on each subject. Counselors will not respond to comments or answer questions to avoid any violation of Open Meetings Act. Questions or requests for information should be directed to the city manager in writing during regular business hours. That being all read and said, Ms. Caldwell, you go up to the podium, please. Wherever's at the podium, please.
So
Thank you.
Mayor Jackson and members of the council, thank you for just 3 minutes. As you know, Eastern New Mexico University has been searching for a new president. And 1 week ago today, that candidate signed a contract and is officially our next president. His name is Dr. James Johnston. I'll give you a little brief overview. He is currently the provost and vice president for academic affairs at Midwestern State, unfortunately in Wichita Falls, Texas, but we're not going to hold that against him. He is a new native of New Mexico, born in Slayton, Texas. His wife is from Las Cruces. Her name is Stephanie. Dr. Johnston served as the interim president at Midwestern State when their president retired during the pandemic and before they had completed their search. He's anxious to come. The family is going, he and his wife will attend graduation just to see how things go. They're very excited to join the community, and I think it will be a very good fit. Of the 5 candidates, our 5 finalists, every one of them stayed into the end. Every one of them wanted to come. And I think he was the most qualified, and I have very good feeling about him. And I look forward to being able to introduce him to all of you and everyone in this room at my and your earliest convenience. Be happy to answer any questions. Thank you for the opportunity to share that information with you.
Ms. Caldwell, you're wearing Midwestern colors tonight. Is that just a?
Unfortunately, Midwestern is a rather good athletic program producer, but you know, they're Texans, so.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Anybody have any comments?
I do, just real quick. It would go, we'd be remiss by not saying that, you know, Dr. Caldwell was the current president, chancellor of Eastern Mexico, and just thank you for all you've done for our community. For Eastern Mexico, you've been just an incredible person and citizen, and we're very thankful to have you and glad you're staying in Portales once you've let go of the reins. So thank you for all you've done.
Good comment. All right, who else would like to speak to the council?
My name's Marla Foster. I'm from Portales. I call this home, but I don't know if it'll be my future, but it currently is my home for now. But I am a business owner and I have residential apartments, commercial. And right now I'm being roadblocked by a city commercial ordinance. I'm getting a bulletin, a billboard sign at some of my locations. And I would just like to, I already got a verbal commitment by the company, Flumen. They're willing to do my locations, but right now, Portales has an ordinance for only one bulletin board or billboard. And the only one y'all have approved and allowed is the one at O'Reilly's, the restaurant. And I have potential to get more. And I was told by Ron Jackson on Friday, which I had a witness. He says, what, Marla, you want us to look like Clovis? What's wrong with Clovis? They're growing, we're not. I have to go to Clovis to go to the movies. And we need some change. We're stagnant. You know, people are business owners here. We have a lot invested. I have a lot of money here right now, but I can sell out and move somewhere else. But you're affecting the small business owners on the square and the whole town. You know, Fun Center put in a lot of money. You know, Bruce Nixon did. I mean, we need some help from y'all. And so I would like to get it on the agenda on the next meeting. And I am in the process of printing out the ordinances, and the company's going to call me back and let me know which ordinance is affecting me. But as soon as I can get a change, it's open to come in. And I would just like your consideration.
Thanks. Anybody else? Anything from the council? Anything from staff?
I just want to thank the council for also stepping up to help with the staff when they were working on the water leak. We had quite a few, the mayor, Mike Miller, step in and offer to help with anything that was needed. And all of you that showed up to check on the staff, that was awesome. Thank you.
Susan?
I wanted to remind council and the public that our community survey is up on SurveyMonkey. That is part of our comprehensive plan update that was released earlier this week. So I'd like people to be looking for that on our social media sites. Very simple, very fast. We'd love people to take the time and give us their feedback during the development of that comprehensive plan. And also, I want to say that we're working with the county through the Clean and Beautiful program, wonderful state funded program, to do a community cleanup, targeting residential cleanup. Steve's group here for the infrastructure is working on getting some special pickups done in the alleys of mattresses and large furniture. And we're making a really big push, and the convenience center will be open free of charge for county and city residents on the 7th and the 8th from noon to 4. And we urge everyone to take advantage of that opening and help us keep our community clean and beautiful.
And that's this weekend.
It's later this week.
Yes, sir.
I just had a quick question. I got an email today that the water department shut down for an indefinite time because of staffing.
Right.
You know when that's gonna open back up?
Oh, the billing.
As far as paying the bill.
Well,
Right.
I had questions on the water bills.
Staff is available by phone right now. We're hoping that the windows will be open tomorrow. We've had some illness in that department and some scheduled.
So could he call down there and talk to somebody? Of
Yes.
course, you gotta manage.
Can you answer more than just billing questions, like when the meters are read? and-
Oh, yes.
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 You gotta jump through that.
Option 1.
It's option one.
Option
Okay.
one.
It's option 1.
I won't say any more.
With the automated system.
I wasn't asking for that comment.
That we are going to update it.
Okay, anything else from anybody else? Okay, we're standing adjourned. Thank you. Holy moly. Yeah, that automated system is.